The former second-round pick from Louisville, Tyler Shuck.
And there was a positive in last week's loss. No interceptions thrown by him. But he only threw one touchdown pass, and you know he wants that to improve. We might even consider that as part of the reason that they couldn't take the risk.
Taking it right down Broadway. Now he's loose down the left sideline. Touchdown, New Orleans. Cortland Sutton with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Saints are on the board first here this afternoon. Extra point by McLaughlin is up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. So out comes the Washington offense onto the field. And they will be led out by their 6'4" quarterback.
And the tendency for most of these guys is to want to match things right away because they have a lot of confidence in their talent too. They just saw a big strike against their team, and you know they're thinking to themselves, I can get this back right now on one play. Well, if it's there, you take it, but otherwise, just go ahead and calm your team down. Run the offense, get things going, and see how things settle in.
They're going to hurry back to the line now.
That's good.
Here's Daniels. Open man is Samuel, complete. And that's good for a gain of 6, and it'll be second down. We'll see what kind of mindset they have here offensively after giving up the touchdown on the opening drive.
And based on our time with them, prior to this game, I feel like they've got a good mindset going in. In fact, the discussion that we had with the coaching staff was, we may give up some points in this game, so our offense has to be ready each and every time to either equal or try and get us ahead and try and keep us ahead. This is their chance to respond to that first touchdown given up.
The catch and run going to wind up netting him 33 yards. So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20.
Ready.
To the air goes Daniels. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a 1st down. Well done. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs. They run. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. And this is going to result in losing yardage. They're driven back to the 8-yard line. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on 1st down.
At the Saints' 8-yard line.
Cougar 19, Buffalo 18.
Working out of the gun, Daniels. And it's caught. And he'll get positive yardage there as he'll be touched down.
Samuel. A gain of 7 yards. It's now 3rd and goal.
19 Tiger, 19 Tiger. 70 Timberwolves. Go.
They'll look to throw on 3rd and goal. Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete. So they opted to pass for it on 3rd and goal. Let's see what they do on 4th and goal.
Well, I think they threw it with the idea that if they didn't get it, they would go for it on 4th and goal. So they've got another play in their pocket. They're going to have to call it right now. No field goal here.
And he is not going to be able to get away as they swarm him for a loss shy of the goal line. From deep in their own territory, they look to throw. He's got a man. It's his fullback. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10.
Gain of 31 yards. 1st down, Saints.
Here's the option. And now they're going to get him down right at the line of scrimmage. Only a yard on the keeper, and it'll be 2nd down. You talk about this Washington defense. They're trying to cover up some holes in the secondary. Right now, bottom 5 in the league against the pass at number 28.
And I think you're going to see some changes in the offseason, whether it's through the draft, free agency, maybe even both. They definitely need some help in the secondary.
And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the 1st here. Throwing, Shuck. Throw out wide is incomplete. Following the play here, now we've got an injury. Ethan Evans on now to punt. He punted 4 times in the loss last week as he gets this one away here. And he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback.
Yeah, really, I should probably sign a hit, boy, because I got all the hits, boy. All that Drake, you got to chill. I be on my little mouse drip.
Pass the 60. 70 Timberwolves. Go.
The drive begins with a carry by Krosky-Merritt. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up second down.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
A short one there, caught by Likely. And he's got this almost to the 40 before going out.
It's a gain of 16 yards. And the Washington first.
To throw is Daniels. Setting up the screen, Krosky-Merritt. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard. From the 48-yard line, here's second down at a yard. Daniels looking to throw. He's going to look deep down the field. Oh, man, it's caught inside the 10. That'll put him at 77 yards receiving for the ball game. It's a first down.
When they've needed a play this year, he's certainly been the guy to deliver it. As this season has gone on, he's been awfully consistent and sometimes spectacular.
Here we go. Start. Let go.
From the shotgun, it's Daniels. He's got it. Touchdown, Commanders. Jalen Lane from 4 yards out. And the Commanders are an extra point away from evening this one up. And oh, he missed it. No good. And they'll... Maine down by a point. Washington kick team back out there now as they will send this one away. And the returner down to a knee. This will come out to the 35-yard line. Now Cortland Sutton and the rest of the offense getting ready for their next drive. Well, he's within shouting distance of a 1,000-yard season. Going to need a pretty good finish, though, if he wants to reach that mark.
I like how you phrased it, partner. He is within shouting distance. If he stays on this pace, he's got a shot at it. But he needs a big game in there, right, to make sure that he gets it. So you know that during the week, in practice, and look, ask for the ball all the time. Anybody, he's really going to ask for the ball and let his quarterback know he's open.
Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. When you look at this defense, they're currently 6th in the NFL in defending the run.
Most of their challenges have come in the passing game because against the run, they've been pretty darn good. Now you got to figure out a way to slow down those receivers before they get downfield and maybe make a few more plays on the ball when it's in the air.
Well, that'll be incomplete. And he took a shot as he let that go. And it's going to bring up a third down. They'll send the tight end in motion left. Now Shuck. Oh, the Commanders are going to get there as he's taken down. And now that brings up fourth down there. A loss of 6 yards on the sack. After one, a one-point game, 7-6.
Ethan Evans in punt formation.
The Saints with a football here to begin quarter number 2. As they've got it with a fourth down coming up. That's taken on the 25. Call that a 44-yard punt, 5 on the return. And it will be Washington football now with a 1st and 10. The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. And if you just look at this game, Charles, on paper, they've got the edge, no doubt. They're hanging around the top of the NFC. On the other side, you got a squad that's towards the bottom of the NFC. But when we mentioned that to the coaches, they were having no part of it.
Yeah, and I like how you said when we mentioned it. In fact, I mentioned it, and I upset them a little bit, didn't I? Because they wanted no part of that one, and I was reminded, like a 5-year-old, this is the NFL. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. They are guarding against the upset.
Here now, 3rd and a yard.
Brings up 3rd and 1.
Let's go. Ready.
They'll try and run for it. Krosky Merritt. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. That good for 22 and a first down.
Well, partner, that's one of the problems when you sell out to stop the run on 3rd and short. Sometimes you break that initial wall and you go a long way.
So how do you prevent it?
That's tough to do. That really is tough to do. One of the things offenses like to do nowadays in practice, you know, they do a lot of working against equal numbers. They'll start putting more and more numbers on defense and just telling the offensive guys, figure it out, learn how to block it. We may see this situation. So many times we've seen him try to escape the pocket and do something with his legs, but in this case, the pressure was too intense and he made the wise choice to just get rid of the football and make sure no one was going to get it.
He's got room at the 30. And this is going to be another first down as the tackle's made at the Saints' 24-yard line.
First and 10 at the 24-yard line.
Crack all 80.
Throwing now is Daniels. This is caught. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Jalen Lane with his 13th touchdown of the year and 2nd of the game. And Washington has taken the lead.
Here we go. Here we go.
Line up with a 2-point conversion.
He's got it at the 2. And he will find the end zone here. And the lead moves up to 7.
Panthers 14, Saints 7.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped at the 23-yard line. Looking to put a drive together. They'll look to ETN to start things out. And he'll get what he can up the middle. 3 yards. That'll bring up 2nd down.
That's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
19 Tiger.
They'll throw. Here's Shuck. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And it's Washington and he is going to bring this one back to the house. It's a Commanders touchdown on the scoop and score. So the big fella gets on the scoreboard with a return for a touchdown. Good thing he didn't have to go too far, though.
You know the trainers were very happy about that. Imagine having to go get him in the end zone, escort him to the bench, and give him the oxygen. They were loving the fact that he got in without having to run very far.
The call is to go for 1 and kick the extra point. It's good, and it is now 21-7. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way. The fumble return for a touchdown. And no thought of bringing this one out. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll begin at the 35-yard line. The New Orleans offense set to take over. So good starting field position for him here as they come up 1st and 10 at their 35-yard line. They'll start on the ground, ETN. And this defense not giving him anything there. Maybe a yard up to the 36.
If they want to start getting back into this game, it behooves them to get better on 1st down.
Yeah, certainly not what they were looking for there out of the opening play of this drive. Here's Shuck out of the shotgun. And he's got his man in stride, complete. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled.
A gain of 11 on the play. First down, New Orleans.
On 1st and 10, it's ETN. And he's fortunate to get anything from that. Give him a yard up to the 49. From just shy of midfield, here's a 2nd and 8. Play action now, Shuck. And the Washington pressure gets to him. He will go down. More than one defender there, and that's a loss of 5 on the sack. These sacks now, they're starting to pile up, Charles. And that front 7 defensively, they've had their way with this offensive line.
And I think at this stage, we have to start thinking about different play calls. We've got to start helping this quarterback out because the entire game he's been under siege. I don't care what the down and distance. They've got to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker.
And that's going to be incomplete. The contact there enough to jar that ball free. And it brings up 4th down. Here's Ethan Evans now. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback. So out comes Washington's offense to take over. A good balance attack for that last touchdown drive they had. Now it's time to see if they can do that again.
And it really becomes a tale of 2 play callers, doesn't it? The offensive guy, he's in sync. Everything's working pretty well. For the defensive
what's going on the defensive side?
That's a tough one because he's prepped all week as well, and he can't get a bead on exactly what they're doing right now. What he needs is one of his guys just to make a big play and disrupt things.
Second quarter action, 1:56 remaining. Here's a 2nd and 5 now from the 25.
Let's go now.
Now Daniels. That's Samuel, caught left side. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. The catch and run, good for 18 and a first down.
So many times in my career I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing. But as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Aleem McNeil. He's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year.
But that's what they have to do more of defensively. Not just getting sacks, but they have to keep getting in his face, not let him get his feet set and deliver. He's been carving them up previously.
Yeah, already has a couple of touchdown passes. About time they put a few grass stains on that jersey. And this one is going to be off the mark, too far out in front.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. So on 4th down, Washington going to call on Tress Way to punt it away. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. And you can't do it much better than that. This ball kicks out of bounds at the 4-yard line. And the Saints offense going to head out now late in this first half. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time to... And he is not going to get away. The rush was too strong, and this is going to wind up with safety.
I've got to give them a ton of credit here because they're just refusing to give that other sideline any kind of hope. That safety not only kills the drive, but adds to a big early lead. And the way that this one's going, I would expect that lead to continue to grow in the ensuing possessions.
A good starting spot for Washington as they come up 1st and 10 at the 40.
Panther 11, Panther 11.
Looking to throw. Daniels. That's caught downfield. It's Lane. And he'll be out just a yard or 2 shy of the 30.
It's a gain of 29. And the Commanders first down. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
Here we go, here we go. Ready.
Back to throw. Daniels. And the screen unsuccessfully dropped it.
He did a fine job there of not hitting him before the ball arrived, and I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well and think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
And the offense moving quickly to the line.
It's 3rd and 10.
Daniels from the gun on 3rd down. Able to find the open man. That's complete. The Commanders going to use the second of their timeouts as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1. A chance to really cap off a big first half here as they come up on 1st and goal. On the throw, led him too much that time. It's incomplete.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up. Not that time. Another shot from the 1 on 2nd and goal. Off the RPO, he completes it. Touchdown, Washington. Luke McCaffrey in the final seconds of the first half. And the Commanders are able to widen their lead here in this first half. Extra point right down the middle. And that pushes the lead up to 23. That time a 6-play drive. And it was polished off by a Washington touchdown. So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. Getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. And with 10 seconds left, not really enough time to put something together. And he's got his man out of the backfield. That's complete. And this offense going to elect to burn a timeout with 5 seconds remaining in quarter number 2. And unless this is a quick incompletion, this is likely the last play here of this first half. They'll throw now on the final play. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. So after the second down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6. And his throw is incomplete. Halftime coming up. Let's get you down to Orlando and our buddy Scott Hint. Well, we're in the latter stages of this season. Everybody's getting antsy, so antsy that we're going to skip the halftime and get ready for the 3rd quarter. Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3 alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gordon. And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. The Commanders up first on offense as we begin this 3rd quarter. Looking to put a drive together.
Let's go now. Craft all 80. Let's go.
Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Options galore here. 2nd and a few inches.
It's 2nd and inches at the 31-yard line.
Daniels with a give to Krosky Merritt. And this is going to be a Commander's first down as good running gets him to about the 44.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Hasn't had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. Just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
He was held without a catch in the first half, but he's got one here, and he also picks up a first down.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the 3rd quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
They'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
And that's what this defense is going to need to do more in the second half. Good pressure that time, forces some indecision in the backfield. He's going to wind up being taken down for a nice loss.
And that'll be off the mark, too far out in front, and it's incomplete. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the third quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
And this turns into a nice gain with a slide at the end. The escapability in evidence there is that one good for 15 and a first.
Commanders first down. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
70 Timberwolves.
Operating from the gun, Daniels. Oh, a first mistake for him in the ball game as it's intercepted. Picked up by Jonas Sanker. And the Saints are going to take possession here at their own 6-yard line. The Saints offense on the field ready to get their drive started. They got the ball now following a big play, keeping the other guys out of the end zone. Now they'll start deep in their own territory, 1st and 10. Here's a 2nd and 8.
On the 8-yard line. A gain of 2. Brings up 2nd and 8.
To throw is Shuck. They'll find Sutton on the right side, complete. And able to get it across the 20 before they get to him. Inside 4 minutes to go, third quarter.
A gain of 13 yards. And the Saints
Running out of the gun with ETN. And not much doing there, maybe a yard up to the 23. Another modest gain there on that one, and I think, Charles, you can probably pin part of the deficit on a failure on their part to really get this ground game established.
Yeah, they've really struggled to be multidimensional in this one, haven't they, partner? Because they have to be extremely one-dimensional now if they hope to get back into this game. They have to do it by throwing the football and hope to have success through the air.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. To throw now, Shuck. Well, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Here comes the Saints punter now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. It'll be a 10-yard return following a punt of 45. And the Commanders will take over with a 1st and 10. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. But not an ideal way to end their previous drive. They threw the interception, Charles, after they had built up some momentum. They were moving the football, but something to at least build on for this offense as they run back out here.
Yeah, you're right about that. Up until that last point, everything was working pretty well for this offense. Gaining chunks of yardage, getting first downs, really making a push for the end zone, and looked like they had a nice rhythm going. Now you got to have a short memory here. Don't focus on the interception. Focus on what came before it and get back to it.
Back to throw now on 1st down. Slings this deep from McLaurin. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. In the third quarter here in D.C., a 2nd and 10 upcoming. Looking to throw. Daniels. And that one too far in front. He couldn't reel it in. It's incomplete. But one thing's for sure, they're still taking their shots downfield, even with a big lead.
No, I think it's way too early to go into a shell, so I like what they're doing. Continue to take your shots. Continue to be aggressive. It's not their job to slow themselves down.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Now a handoff up the middle. Hughes. And he's not going to get anywhere close to the marker as they'll stop him well short of the yellow line. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and it'll bring up a 4th down.
Warriors, ready? Viking 18, Buffalo 18.
Daniels going to throw for it. That's to his running back, complete. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. The numbers throwing the ball have been great. He's up over 300 yards now for the game.
First and 10 at the 34-yard line.
So now following the roll of the dice, they've got a 1st and 10 inside the 35. Out of the gun, they go with Krosky Merritt. Down to about the 32. And they're going to hurry back to the line now.
He's tackled at the 32-yard line. A gain of 2. Brings up 2nd and 8.
Operating from the gun, Daniels. Throwing left side, it's complete. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. Now a timeout called for by the offense. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this 3rd quarter. Now Daniels going to give it up on the touch pass. And he is into the end zone for a Commanders touchdown. Jalen Lane, a 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Commanders are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this 3rd quarter. Extra point splits the uprights, and the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. Kick team out there for the Commanders as they send this one away. And the returner down to a knee, and this will come out to the 30-yard line. Getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. See if they can put this drive in the end zone, Charles, because it's been a little bit of a rough go at times. They've had to punt the football a ton in this ball game because of stalled-out drives.
So are you saying that you're kind of tired of seeing the punter run out there and do his thing during this game? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it. I have a feeling that this offense, they don't want to see the punter again.
And frankly, the punter doesn't want to run out there anymore himself. He would love to see his offense put together a drive and give his leg a rest.
From the 43, here's 2nd and a couple. Here's Shuck. They'll try and set up the screen to ETN. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. It'll be a loss of 6 yards on the play. And 3rd and 8 now.
I thought that wasn't a bad time to call the screen. I thought late game, down on the scoreboard, had to figure they were expecting a pass downfield.
Yeah, so the edge rushers, they're coming. That could have hit big. You're right. Good recognition defensively to snuff that one out. And this effort won't do it. He needed to get to the 45. He's a yard or 2 short. So the completion good for 7 there. And that'll bring up 4th down.
And we've seen him have success earlier on with the ball in his hands because he is a get it in space and make a play kind of a receiver. But that time, they closed on him quickly and held him to a short gain.
Going forward, here's ETN. And he's not going to get there. Might have even lost a yard. The Saints' decision to go for it backfires. And Washington will take control of the football in great field position.
Here we go.
Here's Daniels. Now a run here off the RPO. He'll keep it. And this turns into a nice gain with a slide at the end. I guess no need to force it when you can do that instead. 1st down, 18-yard gain.
He's starting to fall into the category of not fair because when he's on target throwing the ball, he's dangerous. But when you add in his ability to make plays with his feet, almost impossible.
Yeah, exactly. They've had trouble stopping him in the secondary. This time they've got the great coverage. Oh, he can run too.
Brings up
2nd and 10.
24-yard line.
Get it.
He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And able to get this down inside the 15 to either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. 9 yards, and that leaves him just short, so it'll be 3rd and less than a yard. Back to throw. Daniels. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he takes it in for a Commanders touchdown. Isaiah Likely, a 13-yard touchdown. And the Commanders are closing in on win number 10 as they extend this 4th quarter lead.
And that third down call. The goal was to get the ball to their tight end and pick up a first down, but he wasn't satisfied with just that. They got the first down. That was the gravy. He decided to take in the whole meal and rumbled in for a touchdown.
No going for two. They'll kick the point after. Point after, right down the middle. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead.
Saints 7.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And he'll wisely just take a knee here, and this ball will come out to the 35. And now the Saints get set to trot out there. We certainly had a sense coming in here that these guys were in for a tough one on the road. That has been how this ball game is played out. They trail big as we continue on now here in this fourth quarter. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And it's Washington that scoops it up. And he gets it back into the end zone. It's a fumble recovery leading to a Washington touchdown. Point after here coming up. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead.
Commanders 51.
The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there, grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. And that one not returnable, not by a long stretch, over the back line of the end zone, so that's going to be spotted up at the 35-yard line. Back out onto the field now comes the New Orleans offense. Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD, but unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
He was unable to shake free there. They'll cover him for a loss of a yard.
At the 34-yard line.
19, Tiger, 19.
Second and 11. And he cannot avoid the pressure as the Washington pass rush gets home. This offense so far on third down, they're struggling. 0 for 6 thus far. This will be a tough 3rd and 18. Under pressure, and they got to him again. Now Washington going to use the second of their 3 timeouts. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. Taken from just outside the 30. So a good punt there, but a very strong 14-yard return. And they will take over 1st and 10. And a Washington offense heading out. We find ourselves here in the midst of a one-sided affair. A lot of fill time down the stretch, Mr. Davis.
So we could talk about food because that is something that you and I both enjoy.
We share that.
We enjoy our time at the table. So maybe the best steakhouses in the city, but in all seriousness, the performances that we've seen this year, we've seen a bunch of great ones. And it's going to be hard to parse who's going to win the MVP.
Yeah, it really is.
Is it going to be a runner? Is it going to be a thrower? Can a defender finally win it this season? Those are the things that we could probably discuss.
And collectively, this is about as dominant of a performance as you could have hoped for on both sides of the football.
Might have to put it #1 for what we've seen this season.
Jalen Lane, 46 yards. And the Commanders continue to run up the score. They lead it big here in the 4th. Extra point right down the middle. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. Washington kick team back out there now as they will send this one away. And no thought of bringing this one out. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll begin the drive at the 30. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
Now following the sack, they'll come up here on a 2nd down and 12. He'll look to throw. Throwing out right here, caught by Olave. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds.
It's a gain of 4. And it's 3rd down.
Out of the gun now on 3rd down. Over the middle, and there's a diving catch. And he is going to have a Saints first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
That's good for a Saints first down. A gain of 16 yards.
They'll look to throw now on 1st down. Screenplay, here's ETN. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And they'll be left with a 2nd and about a foot.
Well, they certainly had their share of troubles running the football in this one, but this play is almost an extension of the running game right here. They set up the screen, let him work out in space on the perimeter, and he turns it into a big pickup.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. They still need about the length of the football here, maybe a little less as they come up on 2nd and inches. They'll look to throw again. And he can't escape, and down he goes. Javon Kinlaw gets him for a loss of 8. What great push up front. He'll try and do this himself. And he's going to be stopped here at the 43, and that is not near enough to pick up the first. Now Washington going to go ahead and use their final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Charles, even as long field goals become more and more common, this is still very rarefied air. Only just over 20 field goals have been kicked from 60 yards or further, and you can add his name to the list now.
And as calm as he tried to present himself, there's no doubt there were some nerves as he lined up to attempt that kick. But once the ball was snapped, he just swept the leg and boom, over the crossbar.
The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continue to pull it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would have, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate. But we'll see what they decide to do as they come out to this one. But the way this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall.
2nd down and 8. Now it looks like he'll throw here. And that is incomplete. Well, at this juncture, CD, you normally see teams pack in the passing game. They've got the huge lead. Not them, though. They're still taking their shots.
I remember reading in past history, there was a college football coach in the Hall of Fame whose nickname was Close the Gates of Mercy. He wasn't really big on that. He was big on going ahead and scoring. He's kind of reincarnated right here. We're watching it in front of us.
Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And he's going to have a Commander's first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
1st and 10 at the 29-yard line.
To throw is Daniels. And they're going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Well, this is long since over in some ways. This is overkill, but remember, this is a team that puts on the hard hats, grabs the lunch pail, and tells everyone, we're going to give you a full 60 minutes. And that's exactly how they're playing this one out.
Extra point splits the uprights. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. Kick team out there for the Commanders as they send this one away. From a yard or two deep, here comes a return. And he'll get it up past the 20 to about the 22. The New Orleans offense set to take over. What do you do here down like this in this situation? Do you maybe just pick something out of the playbook you haven't called in a while, or you call it a day?
You can do that, or you pick something that's a staple for you and should work better and try and execute that on the way out the door and maybe get back to base and feel a little bit better as you end a ball game that's been a frustrating one for you.
We'll see if they go back to base. And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. Now he drops it incomplete, and their struggles continue here. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Looking to throw. That is incomplete.
That's coverage you'd expect to see in a tie game late. Not in a lopsided game like this. They are not letting up.
Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. This is fielded at the 27. Well, fans usually love to see scoring, and there was no shortage of it today. What a dominant